Hi, welcome to the Drunk Linux User. I'm Len. I am the Drunk Linux User. And today we're going to be messing around with putting a movie together or a short video. This is what I do when I'm creating these, wonderful masterpieces, of course. And so we're going to start off with, I've already shot a little movie using my phone's camera. I'm doing that today, and I'm wearing a little lapel mic on my collar. So what we're going to do is I've already moved the file from the phone to the computer, and I've created a file folder for this particular project. And if you kind of see my little path here, home, videos, projects, DLU for guess what, and then this is episode 12. Duh. All right, so I'm also recording the screen background right now, so you'll see this right here. But the two files that we're mainly concerned with right now is this this template file, which I've already set up and copied into this folder so I can tell Shotcut I've got my intro and I've got my outro on here, and this just makes it so much faster to put everything together. But the first thing I want to do is, let's go ahead and bring up Audacity. I know the sound quality is pretty good, but I'm sure there's going to be, maybe just a little bit of background noise on it. So I am going to bring over the movie, the 30-second masterpiece that I made before. I'm going to drop that in here. Well, look at that. That's not too bad, is it? I described this once before, but we'll go through the process again. I'm selecting the first little part right up here, and I'm going to go into Effect, Noise Reduction, and I'm going to get the noise profile. And then I'm going to select the entire clip and go back to Effect, and we're just going to take a look at this. I could have just gone up here and selected, do it again, but I don't think I need to. I am going to drop this back down because I had bumped it up when using the desk-based microphone, which is really, really nice, by the way. And I'm going to drop the sensitivity maybe down a little bit as well. So we'll just try and we'll see what happens. Oh, wow, that just really cleaned it up nice. Really nice. I just hope it sounds good. The only way that I can find out for sure is, and you'll probably hear it as well, maybe not, but I will. And so I'm going to put these headphones on real quick and quiet. Yeah, okay. Sounds just a little bit hollow, but there is no background hum. So I am going to continue doing what I normally do. So I go into Effect, I go into Normalize, I leave this all alone, click OK. Boy, it actually changed something there, didn't it? Okay. Then I go back to, or I go into Filter Curve. I'm just going to listen to this real quick and see if it gives me any. That kind of makes me sound a little bit more normal. I've raised the bass end because if I'm taking out the low-level hums that are going on in the background from neighbors' air conditioners or whatever, cars, then I need to kind of boost the bass. I said that right, yeah. So for my voice, and so boom, it's already done. I go back into Effect after you do any editing on here. Go back into Normalize. What this is doing is it's just making certain that you're not getting too hot or too soft on here. Now I'm looking at this complete waveform, and most of it looks relatively normal, but right here you see it's a little bit hot. I don't know, maybe I bumped something, or I talked too loud or whatever. I hit the Control key and I scroll with my mouse and I bring that up. Okay. What I want to do is I want to select that real hot spot right there. I want to go into Amplify, and I want to find out how loud that is. Okay, it's a click. So I'm going to bring that click down a few dBs. I can still hear it. Ah, okay. It might be something I need. So I don't want to get rid of it completely, but I want to bring it down. Okay, let's go with that. There's just a little boop on my side. Ooh, boy, that really brought it down a lot. Maybe by hitting Control Z, bring it back, and I'll go back to Amplify and change that setting. Let's see. Yep. Preview. It's not really showing me much of anything right now. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it alone. There, that's more normal. So whatever that sound is, it's at a level right now that is not going to be too loud or too soft. So like I said, I don't know exactly what that is. Using the Control key and scrolling backwards the other way, I can bring the whole sound file from that movie back up here for us to look at. And as you can see now, everything is reasonably level. Reasonably. We're going to make it more level right now. And by doing that, Control A to select the whole block and both tracks. Go into Effect, go into Compressor. This is set up typically for my room using my my desktop microphone. So I'm going to listen real closely here to see what happens. I don't know. I'm going to try going back this way a little bit. And what I'm trying to do is there. Now this actually, by bringing the threshold to -11, it kind of got rid of a little bit of a hollowness. It sounds it sounded like I was in kind of like an open room with nothing in it whatsoever. So this actually works. I'm leaving the ratio alone, the attack alone, blah, blah, blah. Make sure these down here are deselected. It just makes things better. For me, experiment on your own if you don't like the quality of what you're hearing. So I'm going to go ahead, and what this is doing is it's helping to compress down the really, really loud parts and bring up more of the soft parts if there was a description as to what was description of what you were listening to. So now I've gone and I've made a change. I'm going to go into Normalize again, and I'm going to bring it up. Now, that looks like, holy crap, what did you do? Well, I brought it up to a normal level. So when I bring this audio track into Shotcut, hopefully I'm not going to have to adjust the volume. I just want to set the limiter so it doesn't go too high, because sometimes I talk maybe a little bit more robustly than I do before, or did before. So because I might be changing this, and I doubt I will, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and listen to it one more time and see what it sounds like here. Yeah, sounds pretty good. So I'm not going to save it here. Well, wait. I am going to save it. I'm going to save it as a WAV file. I'm going to export as a WAV. And I'm going to select today's video. I'm going to leave it the same date, okay? And then I'm going to click Save and OK. And in my folder now, I have this new waveform, or this new WAV file, that if I double click it, it's going to come in and make a nice sound. No image. We got no video. The video's right here. We're going to be bringing these two together just like a Reese's Buttercup. So now I don't need to save this. Get rid of it. You want to save? I say no. If you want to, you can say yes. One of the things that I want to double check on here is audio. No. Okay. Now we go into Shotcut. What I've done is I have set up different different little clips here. I have music, my intro music, How Dry I Am. I have the penguin, the drunk penguin that comes in. I have a layer right here that, when I bring it over, shows drunk Linux user. This is text that I've already made, and I just create another one up here where it shows who's doing this, you know. You'll notice that there's an extra couple levels up here. I'm going to show you why. Coming back down, when I bring my file in, which let's go ahead and bring those files in. We're going to go to videos, projects. We're going to go to DLU, and we're going to go to 12. We're going to drop the movie in. This is your playlist that you're going to be working with, and we're going to be dropping the audio in, the one that we just edited through Audacity. Okay, so we don't need anything else here for right now. I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. So there's an outro to my video, and I've got it all the way down here. The yellow band is where I'm going to be dropping the video I'm going to be editing. I have taken the same files plus added one more, which is this one right here that shows the copyright notification on the bottom of the video. I don't actually put in the audio just yet. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a little bit. So, getting back to the beginning, okay, I'm going to take the movie first, and I'm going to drop it right there. Okay, and I'm going to right click on that movie, select more, and detach audio. That separates the video from the audio. I don't want this audio because it's the original, and maybe I just don't want to use it, so I'm going to remove it. You can also just hit the delete key, does the same thing. Now I'm going to take the audio file, which is the same length because you haven't really changed anything, and put it right there. Okay, and so there's our little movie. I'm going to bring in the other parts by doing the following. This works most of the time, but sufficiently well enough to be able to do it right now. So I left click on the first little segment right there. I'm going to hit Control and hit the second. I'm going to keep my finger on Control, hit the third, finger on Control, hit the fourth. Crossing our fingers, we're going to drag all of these. You can kind of see by the red squares that they were all working together. And the reason I'm doing this again is because I really want to make sure that I have all four. And I'm looking at the bottom because I want this to match up with the movie. And this takes just a couple seconds to move it all the way over to the other side. I'm not used to looking into the camera part of my phone, so forgive me if I keep looking over to the side or something. All right, so here we go. We're almost there, almost there. We're walking, we're walking, we're walking. We're stopping. Now, I know that this bottom portion with the penguin is the longest. So if I let it just, there's this little magnet you can see on the screen. I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to drop it, but if I move it, you can kind of see where it just sort of like snaps into place. I can let go, and the movie shrunk all the way down automatically, and Hey, it all worked. Isn't that great? All right. So we're not done because there's other things I want to do with this. All right. And the first thing I want to do is I'm not going to do any really super fancy editing. Well, why not? We're here, right? Why not? Okay. So I'm going to put the scrubbing bar right over here. I'm going to make sure it's all the way to the left. I'm going to start playing. Da 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 da. Okay. Yeah, I like that little song. Okay, and here's our little movie starting. And you can see that there was just the tiniest little bit of, I've lost something here. Okay. If I bring this over here, there was a little bit of a delay, right? There was no sound, there was no action, there was no movement. So about a second before I start talking, and this is just, you can be more specific with it if you want to. I can just kind of eyeball it, okay? So select your audio, hit the letter S on your keyboard, or you can hit this little splitter right up there, okay? This is so weird. Okay, I can left click on that little portion, delete it. I'll do the same thing with the video part, where I'll just go ahead and hit this right now. This just splits it just like it did with the audio by hitting S. Select that little spot, delete it, move this over, okay? And one of the cool things about both Shotcut and Kdenlive both is that if you hover in the upper corners, you can actually, for example, double click, and that automatically inserts a nice fade in. And again, this works with both video editors. I know from watching the video and previewing before that I'm going to go ahead and just fade out at the end there. Okay. But guess what I need to do? I need to select these again, right? Because I've altered the length of the film. All right, that's all of them. And I'm going to click and drag, let that little magnet thing work there. And just double check, I'm sure, because I can see right here that the line matches right up there, but I like to double check, make sure everything's good. All right. So what I do with the audio part is I go into filters, and I'm going to add a filter. Okay, and this filter is going to be for bass and treble. This just works best with my equipment, doing it this way. Play around with this, experiment, find out what sound you like the best. Again, boost the bass a little bit, bring my voice back to normal, get rid of some of the muddy midtones, and I have a tendency to kind of whistle S's every once in a while, so I bring the treble down as well. And this just pretty much just makes the sound much nicer, more natural, more warm. Okay. The next one I'm going to put on is going to be limiter. I'm so sorry. Hang on. Okay, limiter. I know it's here. Limiter. There we go. I showed this in one of the other videos, but just to recap, I bring this down to -1, okay, and then I listen to the music, and then I listen to my voice as it's going in, and this is how I'm going to either raise or lower the volume, the gain, on my spoken part, just to make sure. Maybe spring cleaning up there. Just to make sure that it's not too loud. I want to make it as consistent as possible with the music, so that you're not having to, crank up because it's too low, I can't hear you, or holy crap, you're going to blow my ears out when you start talking. So let's give it a shot here. I want to make sure I get a good sense of the volume, and I look over here, see where that's at, and my voice now. Okay. And this is how I preview before I actually export it. So I'm just waiting for the 30-second mark, which isn't 30 seconds anymore because I already took a little bit off. See, there goes the fade out, and this is the fade in. But there's no music, right? Okay. The reason that I'd wait to do the music at the very end is because if this overlaps with what I've been speaking on, it just messes everything up. So I always do this last. I suppose I could probably just copy this and put it on another layer, but why, right? Okay, so I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to the end of the file, or the film, video, whatever. Control V to paste. Okay, and then I'll just drag this over. Because I know there's a little blip at the beginning, I'll just fade in on the audio right there. I'll go back up to my timeline, well, which is actually right here. So I click here and play and fade out, and the music comes up. It's the same level as the first part, so everything should be about the same right now. And you can see that all three of these little panels up here have come in with the text that I've created. To create those texts, it's really pretty easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I'm not going to keep it. Well, again, why not? We're here, right? This is why this is a little counterintuitive, but stay with me on this one. You're going to open Other. You're going to go into Text. Type something here. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to put my cap locks on. I'm going to type something here. And click OK. And you can see that you've got this little box of where did everything else go. This is all by itself, and it looks muddy. It looks really bad. But again, I'm also previewing at 360p, so it doesn't show up quite as clear. What I do is, I typically keep, I'll just drop the thickness down to 0, and it comes out a lot clearer. What I do now is I grab a hold of this box, okay, and I'll just put it here. All right, there's nothing in that spot anyway. So when I bring the cursor over, you can see type something here. Okay, that's pretty nice, but you know, maybe you've got a neutral color here and your text color is something different. You want to change those. You can also change the style of the font right there. I'm not going to worry about the outline. What I do is I want to go into background, and I've been using this kind of orangish background flavor, shall we put it. I can increase the length of this so that it lasts longer than a couple seconds. Like anything else, I can fade in, I can fade out. But if you want it to look good, because if I do this right now, watch what happens. It's sort of like, something doesn't look just quite right. So, selecting that file, we're already in filters, okay? And what we're going to do is under Fade in Video, okay, we're going to select Adjust Opacity instead of Fade with Black. This makes the fade in and fade out of the text. I just went into Fade Out Video. Click the same button. This just makes it look so much better when you go through. See? Much cleaner. All right. So, we've got the audio, we've got our intro, outro, we've done our little editing on the video. Now it's time to actually render the file that I can use to export up onto the internets. All right. You can start by clicking here. It opens up a tab down here on the lower left. Click YouTube. This just makes it so much easier, but you do want to do some changes. You also want to make sure that you're going from your timeline. Okay, you don't want any of these others selected. You want timeline, because this is your timeline and that's what you're hoping to show the world. If you have a GPU to help with the processing power, go ahead and click this. I don't, so I leave it alone. Advanced, you can see I'm going to make it 1080p. Okay, progressive. I'm going to make it at 30 frames per second. Aspect ratio 16:9. Okay. I usually leave this at the bottom where it says best, and then under interpolation, I'm going to use best. This always resets on me, and it doesn't matter what I do for some reason. So anyway, the next one you're going to click is Codec. This is set up for libx 264, which is what BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and Odyssey prefer. I think even Facebook wants that as well. I leave it at quality based. I have tried using constant bitrate, and then all of a sudden my voice and the video are out of sync. Go figure. All right, so the quality. Don't put this up at 100. You're tempted to, but just don't. Put it at 85. I've mentioned this before. BitChute and Rumble both seem to have a lower quality playback. YouTube, for some reason, does a nice job. I hate to use this term. Algorithms? Okay. Whatever they use to put their videos up online, much cleaner, much sharper than what you see on the others. So 85 is what you want for your quality, and leave the GOP at 15 frames. This refers to how many frames per second. For example, we're doing 30 frames per second. You cut that in half. So if you're doing 60 frames a second, you would make the GOP 30. Okay. Because I'm using 30 frames per second, I half that. It's going to be 15 frames. B frames, 2. All right. B frames are bidirectional delta. Okay. Basically, what it does is it helps with keeping the compression and the time all set up. Our doggy friend's back outside. Leave the codec threads alone. You don't want to disable the video. Heck, what would be the purpose if you're not going? If you're just doing, I suppose. Well, even then, even if you're doing a podcast, you still want to have your logo up and everything. So whatever. All right. So the audio tab, just try to make sure that it's on stereo. This defaults to 48, which is a high quality recording. The codec is AAC. This is, again, what you want. Average bit rate is fine because everything else is the same. Leave the bit rate at 384. I'm just telling you right now that this seems to be the best. Under Other, unless you know what you're doing, leave it alone. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm leaving it alone. You can also see up here that you can use that hardware encoder. You can configure it in this tab as well. So we're pretty much ready. What we're going to do right now is we're going to export this file. We're going to go to our folder. I'm going to change this to E12. This is more like a school. Okay, schooling. Okay, because I'm schooling you on how to do this. I'm going to incorporate this video that I'm making right now with this video. Well, it's kind of like, yeah, you'll see. And then I click save, and over here it'll give you a progress on the right, upper right. You'll see the progress bar going. Right now we're at 10%. And if I had a bigger processor, more cores, and maybe even a GPU to help with, this would go a lot faster. But it's not going too bad. The whole video is all of maybe, what does that look like? About 45 seconds. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and we're just going to suffer through it. We're going to muddle through this until it gets done. All right, we're back, and we have rendered our video. And that video is right here, E12 schooling. I'm going to double click this. It's going to bring up my little player, and it's going to have the intro, and this, seeing as how this is all, oh my God, it's 1 minute and 5 seconds long. How did that happen? That can't be right. But then again, maybe it is. Who am I? Oh, look at that. That's me. And I'm talking to you. And it's the little video that we made. Oh, type something here just popped up, right? Okay, that's all good. Let's move this over here. Because my little picture is going to be in the lower right. Didn't think about that. All right, so very, very shortly, we should start seeing the outro, because I'm looking for that 30-second mark. And here we go with the outro. And Drunk Linux User, copyright 2021, Drunk Linux User, your host, moi, me, whatever. And we should have a nice fade out. Music goes away. And voila. Our video's done. And our video's done. So this is how I put together these videos. And depending on the quality of the little video camera that I'm running right now, I might use that instead of using the Logitech. So we'll see what happens, eh? All right. So for now, don't drive drunk, don't drink and drive. Don't go to eBay or Amazon, buy crap you don't want. Speaking of which, I want to let you know I did order a new computer today, and hopefully it'll be here next week sometime. It's supposed to be great for video editing. Hopefully that also means doing video recording too. Let's see. My son in China got his visa packet yesterday. We ordered his plane ticket last night, and he should be here around September 1st. We're hoping on September 1st, but you never know with flights and stuff, how things like that work out. So, wow. Very grateful about all these changes. In the meantime, bottoms up. Later, dudes. Refreshing adult beverages. Well, this is a little different, isn't it? Yeah, I'm using my phone's camera, and I'm using a little clip-on mic, and just trying to give myself a little bit of room. But this is for our great epic movie that we're going to be editing today, and I hope this works out really good for everybody. Just waiting for the 30-second mark, and I will shut it off.